Hey, I'm so sorry, y'all. I know I'm 3 minutes late. I had some technical difficulties. I'm still getting the hang of this live thing. When you come in, man, drop a comment in the chat, please. I'm gonna go grab my hat real quick. I got some merchandise. Got my shirts, as you can see. I got the dove on there. Got my logo, and on the back it says "I am set apart." So I got merch. I'm gonna go get my hat. Give me 1 second. Hey, you're supposed to get the piece out of the oven. All right, I'm back. Got merch, man. Got Set Apart Gardens hats. I'm gonna drop our website in the description below. Man, please support. Please support. But once you come in, man, drop a comment in the chat. Today we're gonna talk about, or we're gonna ask the question: Are we really progressing? Are we really evolving like we think we are, or are we really digressing? I'm speaking specifically to Black people in this video. So when you come in, drop a comment. Drop a comment when you come in. Black to the land. Hashtag black to the land when you come in, y'all. But in the meantime, in between time, I want to eat this chicken real quick. Fresh off the farm. Have we really came a long way? Come on, y'all. Once y'all come in, drop a comment in the chat. Look like we got somebody on. Mm-hmm. 3 people in. Once you come in, please drop a comment in the chat. What's going on? White Family Farmstead, what's going on? Don't mind me, I'm just eating a little bit of chicken. Chicken from the farm that I raised myself because I got a little hungry. I'm gonna wait 5 more minutes for everybody to come in. Hey man, I got new merch, got hats, got t-shirts. As you can see, got new merchandise on the website. You can see the back. I am set apart. Today we're gonna ask the question: Have we really came a long way? Speaking specifically to Black people. Hope everybody Friday going good. Don't mind me, I'm just hungry. I'm gonna give everybody 5 minutes to come in. What's going on? I see somebody in. Once you come in, drop a comment in the chat, please. I'm about to get started. All right, so I got a real interesting question. Because we oftentimes, and for y'all who just coming in, man, I got new merch. I got new merchandise on the website, man. You know, definitely got to build a certain kind of brand for Black farmers and people who getting back to the land. You know what I'm saying? So I got T-shirts, I got hats, all that type of stuff. But anywho, I got a real important question. Hey, what's going on, G Mama Gross? What's going on? I know if ain't nobody gonna be on here, you gonna be on here, so I appreciate you. But I got a real important question. To ask, and y'all answer this in the chat, because we oftentimes hear, especially in the Black community, because I'm speaking specifically to the Black community on this video. We oftentimes hear we've came a long way. I want to ask the question: have we really came a long way, or are we digressing? Are we going backwards? Have we really came a long way, or are we digressing? Answer that question for me in the chat. Have we really came a long way, or are we digressing? Because I got some points that I want to hit. I'm gonna give everybody who's in here. I'm gonna give everybody a chance to drop a comment in the chat to answer that question. Have we really came a long way as Black people, or are we digressing? I want to see everybody's opinion on that. So go ahead and drop those comments in the chat, please. Yep. I appreciate y'all for coming on too. I appreciate it. Have we really came a long way as Black folks, or are we digressing? Are we going backwards? Are we going forward? Have we came a long way, or are we going backwards? All right. I'm gonna give probably like another minute. I think we're coming a long way. We are coming a long way. We are. Now, the reason why I wanted to ask this question, right? The reason why I wanted to ask this question is because I want to look at it from a standpoint of our ancestors, who lived back in times of, oppression and slavery and all these things, Jim Crow. I want to look at our ancestors who lived in these times. I want them to look at us in the present day, and I want to ask them, when they look at us, have we came a long way? Now, sure, we've came a long way as far as the rights that we have. We've came a long way in terms of, just the climate of this society and the stigma against Black people. We've came a long way in those aspects, and like G Mama Grove says, we're coming a long way. We're still trying to, evolve as well. But I want to look at it in terms of what our ancestors would think. So I want to ask the second question: would our ancestors who died for our rights, would they look at our progress and would they say that they're proud? Because in my opinion, I don't think it's a definite answer. I don't think it's a yes or a no. Because on one hand, our ancestors who never saw freedom, who were born into slavery and died in slavery, right? I feel like they would look at us and be proud that we're free. that we're able to, live the American dream. We're able to do the things that they would have never imagined being able to do. I definitely believe that they would be proud of that. But on the other hand, I definitely think that they wouldn't be proud of the mindset and and all the different things that's going on within the Black community today. Because in my opinion, I feel like we've gotten away from a lot of the fundamentals. We've gotten away from our foundation. A lot of us. Well, I'm not going to say most. I'm going to say a lot. I'm going to say what's portrayed in the mainstream media, right? So I feel like our ancestors, if they're looking at us, they're not looking at us saying, "Oh, we're proud. We're proud of the mindset that they have." Yes, they'll be proud of how far we've come. Of course, that's natural because we've definitely made a lot of progress thanks to those people who came before us in the civil rights era. You know what I'm saying? In the Jim Crow era, and all those different eras, they'll definitely be proud of the progress we've made. But at the same time, have we really made a lot of progress mentally? You know what I'm saying? Because nowadays, when we have all the freedom and luxury to really do what we want to do and make a change and make an impact and be great, when we really have that opportunity with nothing holding us back and no one holding us back, what are we capitalizing on that? You know what I'm saying? And like I just said, I feel like we've gotten so far away from the foundation. The foundation was the things that we knew: survival. We knew these things: dignity, values, respect, honor, reverence. All these different values. Do we still have them? And I would answer no. And as far as what's projected, hey, if you're just coming in, man, drop a comment in the chat. Drop a comment in the chat. Hashtag Black to the land. Black to the land. Hashtag Black to the land. If you're just coming in, you know what I'm saying. So that's my first point. Would our ancestors look at us and say, "Man, we're or man, we're proud of what they became"? We've come a long way. Still have a lot more to go. I definitely agree. We have came a long way, but mentally, have we came a long way? Have we came a long way mentally? Because of course, naturally, we've come a long way from slavery. We've come a long way from all of these different things. But have we come a long way in our mindset? Because honestly, I feel like we're going backwards in our mentality. I feel like we're going backwards. Not all of us, of course not. Not all of us, but those of us who are in the forefront, the ones who are leading society, and the ones who are influencing society, if you will. I feel like we're really digressing mentally. We're celebrating things that shouldn't be celebrated. I often ask the question: Do we have dignity anymore? The things that we, the things that we post to represent us, to represent our community. You know what I'm saying? As Black people, no, we have not. See, and that's the thing. It's a multi-layered answer, because it's like, yes, in one sense we've came a long way, but in another sense we haven't. Because you can't sit here and tell me that right now, mentally, we've came as far as where Dr. Martin Luther King was, or where Malcolm X was, or where Stokely Carmichael was, or where Medgar Evers was, or where Marcus Garvey was, or where Frederick Douglass were. Mentally, we're not as evolved as them in mentally up here. The whole thing is kill the mind, keep the body. You know what I'm saying? So I want to bring awareness to that, because we oftentimes speak of how far we've came, but we never talk about how we've digressed mentally. We never talk about the different things that were placed in our community, in our culture, that has been the detriment to us, you know. And you know, we don't talk about the drugs. We don't talk about the gangsterism. We don't talk about the dependency, the dependent mind state. We don't talk about all that stuff that has really caused us to digress mentally. Because we could say, oh, we have a lot of black billionaires and we got a lot of black millionaires, but at the same time, do we have another Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greenwood district? Do we have another one of those? We have all these millionaires. We have all of these wealthy people. Do we have another Tulsa? That should let us know right there where our mindset is. We have all these wealthy black folks. We have all of these wealthy celebrities who claim to be making all these millions of dollars. But how much of the farmland in the United States is owned by black people? You got all these millionaires. You see what I'm saying? How many hospitals? How many law practices? How many grocery store chains? How many mainstream franchises, restaurant franchises are owned by black people? How many? How many construction companies? How many? You know what I'm saying? So yes, we've came a long way. We have a lot of black people doing their thing, but have we really came a long way mentally? Because we literally are still dependent on everybody else. We're literally dependent on everybody else for all of our needs. How have we came a long way? Our ancestors who had nothing, they didn't even own themselves, had more up here than we have today. Think about that for a second. Our ancestors who were going through Jim Crow, our ancestors who were, you know, being lynched. You know what I'm saying? Not to make it heavy, but I'm just being real. Peace, family. My light field journey. Thank you for joining in. Think about it. Our ancestors who literally had nothing. They didn't even own themselves. They didn't even own their children. They were property. Or the ones, I mean, we could talk post-slavery as well. You know, the ones who were dirt poor. They still had more up here. They knew how to do more up here. They had more in here than we have today. They had values that they wouldn't compromise on. They had certain things they wouldn't compromise on. The foolishness we entertain today, they would never entertain it. The things we find funny today, they would never find funny. The mindset that we have today, they would never have that mentality. So would they look at us and say that they're proud of where we've came? I would say yes and no. They're proud that we're not owned by anybody. They're proud that we at least made it out of the shackles. But do we still have the shackles on our mind? Another point I want to bring up, and y'all chime in the chat. I want to hear many different opinions, but I just want to spark the conversation. I just want to challenge the notion of just how far we've come. I want to challenge that, because I feel if we don't challenge these things, then we're going to continue to be complacent, and our children are going to keep dying in the middle of the street. Our children are going to keep getting 70, 80 years in the prison system. Our children are going to continue to have babies out of wedlock and be single mothers or be absent fathers. You know what I'm saying? Our children are going to continue to grow up in dysfunction if we don't challenge this complacent mindset. Because we can get to the point to where we feel that we've come so far that we feel like we don't have to make any improvements, if you will. We feel like, oh, well, we got a lot of rich people in the black community. Look at LeBron James. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Look at all of these people. You know what I'm saying? Am I making sense? We look at this and we say, oh, look how far we've came. Or look how far we've come. And yes, we have. But is it good enough where we're at today? Because if we have all of these things, why is it that Chicago is still killing like they're killing? People in Louisiana still killing like they're killing. People in all these urban areas still killing like they're killing. People still being shipped out to prison. People still, why is that? We're still dependent for our basic necessities. We're still dependent on every other community that doesn't look like us for our basic necessities. We put our money in white banks. We go to white grocery stores. We eat white food. We go to Chinese people, get Chinese hair put in our head. We go buy brands that are owned by white, Chinese, Italian people. And not to make it a racial thing, but yes, it is a racial thing because we didn't divide ourselves by race. That's what we were born into. I'm not trying, because it's not to exclude anyone. It's just to speak specifically to Black folks, because we have to speak to us. We have to. A lot of folks are scared of change. Exactly. Complacency is our biggest enemy. There's a saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I feel like we adopt that mindset because we think it's not broke, but it really is broke. Our culture is broken. We literally, everything that we create and that we birth as Black people is literally birthed out of pain. It's literally birthed out of trauma. You know what I'm saying? From the trends that we create on social media to the food that we eat. Soul food was birthed out of trauma. Soul food was birthed out of pain. Soul food was birthed out of a place where we literally didn't have any other thing but scraps. So we made chitlins. So we made pig feet. You know what I'm saying? Pig brain, pig ears, hog head cheese, all this different type of stuff. Where we get different sayings from the rooter to the tutor. That's where that come from. That come from slavery. Ribs didn't become a delicacy until Black folks made it popular to eat ribs. Ribs weren't primal cuts from the animals. Oxtail wasn't primal cut from the animal. It was things that they gave to the slaves and said, here, make something out of it. And we turned it into something great, but it was birthed out of pain and trauma. We have to get to a place where we're not birthing things out of pain and trauma. We're birthing things out of a healthy place. You see what I'm saying? So sorry to go off on that tangent, but I'm just saying, what are we doing with the privileges we have? Why aren't we making Why aren't we making improvements? Why aren't we challenging the status quo in our communities and our culture? Why aren't we challenging those things? Why aren't we challenging those things? Why, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's a cycle. It's a cycle. We vote for the same party every election and never get nothing out of it. We literally birthed a lot of trends and a lot of things. I didn't start growing my own food until I had health issues when I should have been involved long before. Problem said, see, that's another thing. That's another thing. Health issues. A lot of us don't get that mentality until we have health issues as far as getting back to the land, getting back to organic, eating things we're supposed to eat, that our body is supposed to have. We don't think about that. We don't think about that until, like you said, until problems start to set in. G Mama Grows, I appreciate that. DNR Homestead, glad you on. Glad y'all are on. Peace and blessings. You see what I'm saying? But I just want to challenge the mindset that we got going around. You know what I'm saying? That there's no room for improvement. That we've hit the pinnacle. We haven't hit the pinnacle. Money doesn't mean anything if you don't have values. Wealth doesn't mean anything if you're not on a solid foundation. We can have as many rich people, we can have as many millionaires, we can have as many billionaires in this country, many Black, millionaires and billionaires and rich people in this country as we want. That doesn't indicate change, because a lot of the times those people who have all that money, they compromise. And that's what we don't talk about. Because you can have somebody who's Black, who has a lot of Black dollars, but are they putting it into the Black community? So the second point, what are we doing with the privileges that we have, that our ancestors didn't have? Our ancestors had virtually none of the privileges we have today. A lot of times, And I tell people this all the time, because yes, I'm all for talking about the oppression in the history and all of that stuff, but it comes to a certain point where we have to take accountability as well, because we live in a post-slavery society. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you still have systemic racism in a lot of areas, of course, but at the same time, it's not nearly as prevalent as it was in the past, contrary to popular belief. You see what I'm saying? But I always make the point: modern black folks cleave to the excuses that our ancestors should have made, but they didn't. We cleave to the excuse of white supremacy holding us back. We cleave to the excuse of, well, I can't do this because of this. Hey, what's up, Cosmic Carbon Consciousness? Glad to have you on. We cleave to the excuses that our ancestors should have made, but they didn't. Why do we get to use those excuses? Why do we get to have that chip on our shoulder when we never went through it? Our ancestors who were in the thick of it, they didn't even use that as an excuse not to thrive. Why do we? That's a problem that I have with black people. That's a problem that I have with the black community. Why are we using these things to hold us back instead of to propel us forward? Our ancestors who were literally in the thick of it, they used it to say in spite of. They didn't use it to say because of this, I couldn't do that. They didn't do that. Because if they did, we would have never been in the position we were in today. Think about that. We sit here and try to use their trauma to justify our shortcomings. How do we do that? They didn't even do that. You talking about millions of slaves who came through the Middle Passage where they could have easily died, but they said, no, I'm gonna hold on to life. They made it through the Middle Passage, and we're saying that we can't do simple things. We can't go and work a job at McDonald's. We can't go and work a job in a construction company. We can't go and start this business. We can't go and get this degree. We can't go and be great and do this and do that because of what they had to go through. Man, come on, man. We got to challenge that mindset, y'all. We got to. We got to stop letting each other get away with that. We got to start holding each other accountable. We have to. We have to. Because if we don't, we're going to continue to digress. We're going to continue to digress. Man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but it is broke, so we need to fix it. We need to. So I just want to pose that question. Have we really came a long way? Have we really came a long way? Is it really all about the money? Is it really all about that? Is it really all about the status? Because we got a quote unquote black vice president. Quote unquote. I'm heavy on that. Quote unquote. You see what I'm saying? Have we really came a long way because LeBron James got millions of dollars, because Oprah got billions of dollars, Kanye West got billions of dollars, Rihanna is a billionaire. All these black folks are making the Forbes list. Have we really came a long way just because of that? Even if they compromised? Come on, man. Think about it. When we had less, we did more. That's a good point. When we as black people, when we had less, we did more. We made more of an impact with less. Now we have everything we need and we haven't made an impact at all. Now, yeah, some of it was intentional, of course. Of course, that's warfare. That's warfare. Our parents were part of the go along, get along era. It is now time for us to teach our children about community building. Amen. She is not black. She is Tommy. Exactly. But I ain't gonna get into that. I ain't gonna get into it, but I'm just heavy on the quote unquote, because we like to cleave to people who identify with us when they need us, but they trash us when they don't need us. They throw us to the side. They throw us to the side when they don't need us, but when they do need us, they want to claim everything that they is and all of that type of stuff. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna go there. But I'm gonna go back to the point I was just making. We did more with less. Tulsa, Oklahoma. You talk about people who was just coming out of Reconstruction, just coming out of slavery, just coming out of all of these different things. They banded together, put what little they had. But really, it was only little monetarily, but it was a lot up here and in here, in the heart and in the mind, in the spirit. They had a lot back then. They had character. They had integrity. They had the spirit with them to guide them. They had the Holy Spirit with them. They had spiritual wealth. They had ultimate wealth. They had things that they weren't going to compromise on. They had all of this. And so they came together and they created the Greenwood District. They had all the essential needs that a black community needed. And there's other communities, other black communities that were destroyed as well. But I'm just focusing on Tulsa because that's the most known. They had all this and they put it together. And what did they come up with? They came up with something so great that white supremacy saw it as a threat. And they literally had to use any excuse they could to destroy it. Think about it. They did way more. Man, it hasn't been the same since. We haven't had a Tulsa since. We can say, oh, Atlanta is the new. No, it's not. No, it isn't. Atlanta is not. Atlanta is doing some good things, but Atlanta is not the new Tulsa. Because you got all those people with millions of dollars in Atlanta. Why is there even a high murder rate in Atlanta? Why is there even kids selling water, basically begging for money in Atlanta? Harassing people to sell water in Atlanta. Think about that. Why is that? When you got all these millionaires, you got all these dudes who can literally come. Why is it that they still have slums that are predominantly black in Atlanta if Atlanta is the new Tulsa? Think about that. Because you know why? Because Negroes get money and they move to the better areas. I'm not saying ain't nobody doing nothing. I ain't saying that. But I'm just saying our ancestors did more with less. And we think that we've come so far from where they were, when in reality we only came that far physically, but not mentally and spiritually. We've actually went backwards. We've reached lows that they would have never went to. We support causes that they would have never supported. We support people and we cape for people they would have never supported. We have to start using the word supremacy. Word have power and constantly saying that we are supreme is power unto self. They are not supreme. Exactly. That's true. That's true. We do have to check our languages or our words, the language we speak. We have to check that. You know, I only use it because that's what's universally known. But yeah, no, they are not supreme. The only being that is supreme is the Most High. Our parents were. I read that one already. They can only do what we allow them to do to us. Exactly. They can only do what we allow them to do. That's the part we're not understanding. But back when we didn't have what we have today, and see, this is the thing, right? It's almost like we have to be under an oppressive state to come together and to wisen up. It isn't until somebody, pushes us in a state to where we're almost oppressed to where we will come to our senses and come together, and it shouldn't have to be like that. Because the more liberal we've gotten, the worse we've become. These historically black cities and states where black people thrived at, in present day where they have all the rights and all the resources, have become slums and dumps and crime and crime infested areas. Why is that? Because you kill the mind and you keep the body. That's what it is. And we allow them to kill our minds and keep our bodies. And we go to work every day make somebody super rich. We go and buy food. We go and buy clothing. We go and buy shelter from people who we're making super rich. Where we're overpaying for these things. We're being mistreated while we're getting these things a lot of the times. Some of the times. Think about that. Think about that. And I got one more point I want to make. If we keep going at the rate we're going at right now as black people, at the black community, if we keep going at the rate we're going at, what will our future look like? Because we hear a lot of we've come a long way. Okay, so that means if we keep going at the rate we're going, then we're going to get better. Is that the case? Because I disagree. It's not the case. If we keep going at the rate we're going at, a lot of matter of fact, I ain't gonna be as frank as I want to be, because YouTube, they censor you. But we're gonna have a lot of our men who don't want to be men no more. We're gonna have a lot of our women who don't want to be women no more. We're gonna have a lot of our children being deleted out. We're gonna have a lot of our people being dependent on people who don't look like them. We're gonna have a lot of our people who continue to die in the streets. We're gonna have a lot of our people who go and invest in other nations, other ethnicities of people, and continue to turn their back on their own people. We actually gonna keep going until we extinct ourselves, until we self-destruct. If we keep going with the mindset that we have, if we keep going with the mindset we have, we're leading ourselves to destruction, essentially. What values do we stand on? What principles do we stand on today? It's a saying. It's a saying that used to be said. There's honor amongst thieves, but that ain't even the case no more with that. Back in the days, the streets had rules. Streets don't even got rules no more. Nothing has rules anymore. Everything is subjective. Everything is how you feel, unless you offend the popular opinion. Nothing has rules anymore. Where's the structure? Where's the rules? We don't have structure. We don't have order. Do you think that the rate we keep going, that we're going to thrive? We won't. We won't. Sad to say. But I see hope in a lot of our people. I ain't gonna lie. I see a lot of the trends being reversed. I see a lot of the things that were meant for evil being reversed. I see people getting back in order, getting back in line, getting back to the land. I see a lot of people getting married young, having kids young, raising children in two-parent households, because children do need two-parent households. Let's end this notion of children don't need a father or children don't need a mother. That's BS. Children need two-parent households. They need healthy, functioning environments. Let's start focusing on our youth. I see that happening a lot today. Let's stop putting our limitations on them. Let's allow them to thrive. Let's allow them to grow up and understand what truth is versus feeling, what fact is, what logic is. Let's start teaching them that. Let's start teaching them ain't no such thing as multiple genders. That's not true. That's not true. Life isn't about how you feel. Life is about purpose. Let's start teaching them work ethic, character, duty, responsibility. I see that happening a lot more in our community. I see it happening a lot more, but we still got a long way to come. We think we came a long way, but really, we've only came that in physical realm, but mentally, we've digressed. Why is this happening? We send our children to the others 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. We are not raising and educating our children. Exactly. We're allowing external sources to instill values in our children. That's why a lot of our children are going the way that they're going, because they're learning all their values from external sources. We have to start taking accountability We have to start back taking control. We have to. But have we really came a long way like we think? Amen. Then our homestead, only through the power of God, only through the power of the Most High, only through the power of the Most High. Because God is raising up a generation. That's what people don't realize. Everything the enemy meant for evil for us, especially black people, everything the enemy meant for evil is actually God is using it for good. So many people, especially myself, raised in a, raised in dysfunction. You know what I'm saying? Raised in not understanding what character is and work ethic is, not understanding that. But guess what? God can transform anybody. That's what people don't realize. God can transform anybody. The statistics, a lot of people supposed to be who's supposed to be the statistics right now is thriving in the world. I'm supposed to be a statistic. Me personally, I'm supposed to be a statistic. Born to a teenage mother, you know what I'm saying? Raised primarily by my mother, raised in um, not ideal circumstances, poverty, um, ratchetness, yes, hood, all that type of stuff. I'm supposed to be a statistic, but guess what? God can transform any situation to anybody. And God is definitely raising up a generation. That's what people don't understand. So I see a lot of our people getting back to that order, getting back into that instead of saying, oh, I was raised, in a single parent household. I was raised in dysfunction. So my child gonna be all right. No, it's because I was raised in that, I don't want my child to be raised in that. So I'm gonna do whatever I can to make that investment in my child instead of being selfish to my own desires. But I'm gonna get back in God's order and do things in his will. That's where a lot of people failed at. They think it's about them. It's not about you. Once you bring children into this world, it's no longer about you, it's about them. You want to make sure they have the best odds. You want to make sure they have the best chances at life that they can possibly have. But you know, that's just my thought process. We have to we have to challenge this mentality. We have to challenge this mentality of just how far we've came, because yeah, we've come far in a sense, but we've also digressed in a sense. So we got to deal with both of those issues. We got to appreciate how far we've come, how far how hard our ancestors fought, how far we've come in society, but we also have to deal with the fact of the points where we digressed at, and how we can progress in those areas, and we have to go back and deal with those areas and hold each other accountable, and not just point fingers and say, "Oh, black man, you left," or "Oh, black woman, you divorced us for the government," or "Oh, the gangsters and the thugs and the prostitutes and the drugs." No, we can't point fingers, but we have to hold ourselves accountable first and say we all had a part to play in the digression of of our mentality. We all had a part to play, and we all had to hold ourselves accountable, and come together and say, how can we progress? How can we uh, 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 elevate mentally? How can we, change the stigma, the stereotypes? How can we do all that? We have to. We have to, because if our ancestors could see us now, if they could see us now, if they could see us now, they would say, "What's stopping you?" Man, one thing about it, two things for sure. The powers that be know, if they would have gave our ancestors who were rightfully deserving of those 40 acres and a mule, if they would have gave that to every deserving person, the country dynamics wouldn't be where they are today. We wouldn't be where we are today. They knew that. That's why they stopped it. They had to. They had to. So we got to get to a place to where we investing in this and in this, our spirit, our heart, our mind. It's internal. We've progressed external, but we've digressed internal. That's the summation of all of this. To sum everything up, I just said, and I'm gonna stop at this. To sum up everything I just said, we have made progress externally, but we have digressed internally, and we have to get, and we have to make a change from the inside out. This is why we have to unite with like-minded individuals, because everyone would not be saved. Everyone won't be saved. That's true. Everybody ain't gonna get it. But guess what? The ones who do get it need to band together. The ones who do, the ones who do get it need to stand on principle. We got to get to a place. We got to get to a place where we're willing to die for what we believe in, and not trying to make it an extremist point of view. But at the same time, those who made changes, those who made lasting impacts in the world, they were willing to die for what they believed in. They were willing to take an extreme approach. Excuse the background. My kids, they doing some crazy stuff. Yes, we have to keep going forward no matter how unfair things gets. Exactly. Glad to have you on, Miss L. This is what we should ask for in reparation. The 40-acre which was promised to us. Now we need a little more than 40. We need a little more than 40 interest. Interest has occurred. However you say that word. Interest. We need a little more than 40, but hey, I'll take 40. I ain't gonna lie. I'll take 40 acres in the John Deere tractor. Accrued. That's how you say it. Appreciate that. Come out, people be calling me, they be calling me country all the time. I don't hear it. Appreciate your channel and content. Plumbing Poet. I never seen you on here before. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Plumbing Poet. I appreciate you for being on. It says, I appreciate your channel and content. Keep uploading and sharing. You are adding to the positivity that can begin to shift in the right direction. Amen. See, it ain't just me. It's y'all. It's first off, it's God. But it ain't just me. It's y'all, like-minded individuals who come in together, who seeing, the shift that's happening, because there is a shift that's happening spiritually first. It has to happen spiritually first, but then it'll translate to the physical. But there's a shift happening. You know what I'm saying? But that's why we have to push this. We have to push this movement of getting Black people back to the land, because another thing people don't realize is internally, Black people, they have skills. They have skills internally that I feel like God created us with, to farm, to be on the land. We have a natural gift. It wasn't just an accident that we were taken from where we were taken from and brought here for a specific reason. That was never an accident. My husband emailed you and left his contact. I didn't receive it. Hold on. Let me check my email right now. When did he email it? When did he email it? I'm checking my email right now. You and your wife have set a wonderful example and set the bar for your generation. I appreciate that, DNR Homestead. I really do. I really do appreciate that. Driving to meet and greet. Oh, I see it. I see it. The Duke family. Is that y'all? Is that you all? I don't know how I overlooked that. My apologies. I'm gonna email your husband back. Let me see. Yeah, I see it. I see it. Cosmic carbon consciousness. But y'all, hey, that really sums it up. I see it on the 3rd. I see what he emailed me. I'm gonna email you back. I just saw it. I'm gonna read it and email you guys back. I appreciate y'all for reaching out as well. But hey, man, I appreciate everybody for watching. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. But I just want everybody to challenge your mindset, challenge your mentality. You know what I'm saying? And um get out of a complacent mentality like, oh, we've come so far, we can coast. But really, we've only come far in the physical. We've only come far externally. We've only come far into, the accolades that the world gives. But have we really came far up here, or have we backpedaled? And if so, we gotta make progress. You see what I'm saying? But hey, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. If y'all haven't already, man, please check my website out. Please check my website out. I got hats and I got t-shirts. I got a new t-shirt on there. Support make black farmers great again. Something like that. But check it out. Check it out, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I definitely do. I'm finna get back to my Friday evening. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely appreciate all y'all. And I just want to say, if you get somebody the power to feed you, you give them the power to starve you. Peace and blessings.